All right. Hey, what's up, guys? Today we are going to be going into a lot of stuff, a lot of reaction stuff, and we're going to go over a content creator that is out of the woodworks, which is called SmacksanRB. Now, the funny thing about this is that, how should I put this? This is what I've been saying the entire time, that if I wanted to make money easily, all I just do is just chill for Wither Ways. Because the and I'm gonna be very honest and very brutal here. The Wither Waves community, not most of them, but just a toxic community that only play Wither Waves to come online and talk about it and Genshin in the same capacity. Their life is pathetic. Imagine playing a game just to go online and talk about that game against the other game that you just can't get out of your head. And this is the reality of these gacha creators that are just finding all type of reason to hate on Holyverse games. It's just a pathetic life. Like, grant you, it does get them views. For the YouTubers that do it, that get money out of it, congratulations. For the ones that are out here defending Wither Ways 24/7 for their bad practices, get a life. We're gonna be going over this guy's video. So he says he's a ex-ZZZ only player. Can't believe how amazing Wither Ways is. And make sure I turn off. And let's get into this video.
ZZZ only content creator with quite literally 90% of my subscribers coming from ZZZ. I'm not gonna lie, I'm fully expecting y'all to cook me in the comment section for this one. I know y'all ain't gonna like this video.
Did they cook him? Let's see if they cooked him. So, okay. I'm a Kurobot. I see content creator. Praise Wua. I rejoice. I like and subscribe. Tell you, this is how simple-minded these Wither Ways players are. Welcome to another War Shell. Was my favorite game. No, the Gacha game come close. I mean, the glaze. Jesus Christ. Welcome to the fold, bro. Okay. It's such a cultist following. Oh my god. Saint is the Lex Luthor of ZZZ. Okay. I played on recent. Cleared the story and deleted the game. I didn't really know how gacha games work at the time, so I thought it was. 1 year later, I downloaded it back. It's a whole lot of glaze in here. There was no cooking. I think this is mostly from Saint Tonta's fan base.
And for those of you that know me, well, you know I like to call a spade a spade. I always keep it real in my videos.
Okay.
But I just gotta come out on the record and say it. Wuthering Waves is a phenomenal game that I wish I'd give a proper shot earlier. Now, I get it. The Wuthering Waves audience and the ZZZ audience, oil and water, they just don't really mix, like, at all. It's like trying to get a turn-based enjoyer to a...
Well, one thing. Wither Ways is a good game. I'll give it that. Second, there was no animosity between Wither Waves and Zenithal Zero before and until Saint Tontas decided to start shit. It's literally because of Saint Tontas. Literally, there was no war between Genshin, between Wither Waves and Zenithal Zero, period. Because Wither Waves didn't want to compare to Zenithal Zero. Take, for example, the NPCs. Zenithal Zero's NPCs far superior than Wither Waves. And Wither Waves is not going to want to compare with somebody that is going to make them look bad. So obviously, there was no comparison between the two of them until Saint Tontas decided to talk shit. And the reason why this is so bad for War is because Zenithal Zero is so generous compared to the other gacha games from Hoyoverse. It's insane. And it's hard to really push the narrative. So that's it.
appreciate real-time combat. It just really ain't happening. And let's be honest, we all know who's to thank for that. That one man
Okay, so I was right.
Mr. Saint Tontas. The ZZ audience has PTSD anytime his name comes up. Y'all hear Mr. Tontas and instantly half of the player base is triggered. Mr. Tontas is known as a terrorist in them ZZZ streets.
The reason why Saint Tontas is known as a terrorist in these streets is because Saint Tontas will say the most brain dead stupid shit, or Saint Tontas will say some of the weirdest shit with a lot of misinformation, and his dumb, stupid audience will just run with it. And they will not fact check what he says. Like Captain Cabinets, how she got herself in problem with Loki because she was running with what Saint Tontas was talking about with the miasma shield. I don't know if it was Captain Cabinets giving um, Saint Tontas too much credit, but Saint Tontas is not the brightest apple on the tree. Obviously, he's not that smart. He's so stupid. I don't know why Tectone chose him to be the successor, but there were better options out there. Like Brad Online would have been a better option.
And I mean, rightfully so. The man cooks ZZZ so hard that calling yourself a ZZZ player nowadays feels like you're calling yourself a mint picker. But here's the twist. Some of the stuff he says,
That makes no fucking sense. That's
it actually has some merit. I'm not saying I agree with everything. He do be reaching sometimes, but the core of what he critiques, he's not entirely wrong. And that's what kind of sparked up this video. See, ZZZ just hasn't really been doing it for me lately. I don't know what it is, but every new patch just feels like filler. I've been saying this since the beginning. The character designs, they don't really hit for me. Like, they're not ugly or anything, but they don't have the same impact on me as other gacha games do. The story is all right, I'll give them that.
the character designs. I understand why it's not out of the water completely because of the aesthetics, the way Xenosaga Zero goes for. It goes for a modern feel. So, say for example, the other games that are more fantasy, they are way much wild. But Xenosaga Zero do have some interesting design, like the nun character that's coming up, or let's for example Komodo. So I don't know what this stick is really. I think Wooden Xenosaga Zero's character design are pretty good.
And I do love the combat system. ZZ's combat is still, in my opinion, one of the best in the genre. Their world building is unique.
Hmm. Is Xenosaga Zero's combat feel the best? I can give it that Wooden Ways combat is such a hard way to define because I think it would be which one feels the best. And Xenosaga Zero, it's between Xenosaga Zero and Wooden Ways. Wooden Ways combat is really good. Xenosaga's combat is really good. So it's between one of them. It's whatever you choose.
I'll give them their props there, but it just doesn't outweigh the cons for me anymore. And look, every gacha game has its ups and downs. That's
Yes.
just how it goes. But this low feels like rock bottom. I'm just not having fun like I used to. Back in the day, I'd log in, grind, get hyped for drops. Now I log in, stare at the screen for a few minutes, maybe do a daily or two, and log out. We hit a high with version 1.3. That was peak ZZZ, but ever since then, it felt like a slow ride down the roller coaster. Like,
Yeah, I don't know what this guy's talking about. Xenosaga Zero story has always been doing pretty good consistently, and I don't know what I think this has to be this has to be some kind of side effect from people not being able to read mostly. So if there's not like 150 cutscenes for people to say the story is peak because they saw 150 cutscenes. They will say the story is ass because one, they can't follow the story, and two, they lack the understanding to know a good story if it slaps them in the face. So I can see. I don't know where this narrative is coming from that Xenosaga Zero story has fell off or something like that. Xenosaga Zero story has consistently been at very good quality for over the time. The only time it dropped a little bit was 2.0 story, and that's because half of the story was to introduce us to the new area. Apart from that, the story quality has been the exact same as it has been from 1.3. It's just that the narrative is not to be not to like Xenosaga Zero right now, it seems.
We peak again at 2.0. That gave me hope, but then next patch just kind of deflated it. So naturally, I was just gonna ride it out, wait for the game to bounce back. But then I decided I wanted to try some other gacha games out while I wait for ZZZ to get a bit better. I brought HSR onto the channel recently, and that's actually been a nice breath of fresh air. I've genuinely been having fun with it. I like the overall story. I like some of the character writings, and it scratched that turn-based itch that I've been having for quite a while. But then I heard a few of my friends talking about Wuthering Waves again. They showed me a peek of Augusta's combat leaks, and that's what actually really made me look into the game again. Now, I ain't new to WUWA. I played it during 1.0, wasn't really feeling it. The story was meh.
Yo, these Witherways players be out there recruiting people, man, to come into their cult. Like, what the fuck, bro? At this point, Witherways don't need to pay for advertisement. Like, their own player base, I've seen multiple times, be out there trying to recruit people like it's a fucking army. Like, bro, I understand, bro, but Jesus Christ.
the time of 1.0, and the game felt half cooked. Like the game needed more time in the oven, so I dropped it. Came back during 2.0, picked up Carlotta, messed around for a bit, but didn't really stay long. Backlog was super crazy and I didn't feel like playing catch up. But this time I said, let me give it a real shot. No half measures. I cleared out time, I committed, and I've been playing it consistently just to really understand how it feels as a game. And I gotta be real with y'all, Wuthering Waves at this point of its life cycle is the only gacha game I've seen improve this consistently over time. Like, it's wild how much better it feels now compared to when I first touched it.
I'll get into that. That because Wuthering Waves was at rock bottom. I it's gonna be so toxic saying this one. Wuthering Waves story 1.0 story was dog shit. It was the worst story I've ever heard. Like, I would rather pay attention to Snowbreak's story. And I skip everything in that. I just play that for the gooning. I would rather. And the worst part is, their Punishing Grey Ribbon story was really good, I've heard. But now I'm thinking about it, I wonder how much of this is people actually glazing it rather than it being actually good. Because if you ask some of the Wuthering Waves cultists, they will say that Wuthering Waves 1.0 story was really good when it was terrible by anybody that is not financially tied to the company. it's it's insane. The improvements from 2.0 to 1.0 is insane. And in fact, it's too much because they're not focusing on optimizing the game. They don't want to make money.
Back in 1.0, everything felt stiff. Combat had potential, but it was clunky.
Ain't no way that's how she walk.
Animations didn't really flow. Characters felt like they were missing a layer of polish. And the world, as big as it was, felt kind of empty. I'd log in and just think, this game.
Yeah, I'm currently playing Wuthering Waves story. I haven't touched it yet because I have to get through these reactions, but I really don't want Wuthering Waves story to be like, say for example, when the banner is up, that's when you see the character, and then you talk with the character, and then we never ever see the character again. And I don't like that kind of because I have not seen any 1.0 character at all being reintroduced in the story in a meaningful way at all. Like, even say for example, Honkai Star Rail, the fake collab, even as bad as it was, sample came, and samples from Bellabog all the way from 1.0. So you kind of see what I mean. They don't reuse the characters or utilize the characters, the cast of characters that they have enough. Even to this day, you have characters that are in the story in the game from day one, and they have no backstory, nothing at all. And it's unfortunate. I think if I was to give an advice, because I'm not just gonna be like shitting on Wither Waves, I think they should introduce like the hangout system that is in Genshin Impact or some iteration of it, so we can actually have separate story for the characters and we go through it with them and stuff like that. I think that would be an amazing feature and something that they should look into. And given the way their peak storytelling has been for a while now, I think they should do a pretty good job in it.
needs a whole extra year of development. Fast forward now, it feels like I'm playing a completely different title. Combat, it's buttery smooth. I'm swapping between characters, changing
No, that's bullshit. The combat is the exact same from day one. There was nothing wrong with the combat. If you're gonna be there and saying that the combat system from 1.0 was shit, you are lying. It's the exact same way I play Changling from day one. It's the exact same way I play Changling right now, and nothing has changed.
abilities, pulling off parries, and it just feels great. Every button press has weight behind it, and you could tell the devs went
That, are you reading Saint Donta's script? That is literally what has been said by every Gacha CC that has been praised in Wuthering Waves. They have been saying the exact same line. I think this dude just watch a bunch of Wuthering Waves glazing videos and then just say, okay, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say that. Make sure I say the power system is amazing. Got it.
in and really fine-tuned the responsiveness. And it's not just mechanics, it's the presentation. The animations have gotten
He's using 1.0 units. Why is he using?
glow ups,
Oh, should I? Is
ultimates
it
feel
his
cinematic.
face? Is he running a Shangling, a Carmella, and a? You know what? It's not my game. I'm not complaining.
And even the smaller stuff like movement, dodges, and attack cancels feel refined. There's something really satisfying about pulling off a clean combo and Wuthering Waves that I just don't get anywhere else. Then there's the quest design. Remember how 1.0 quests felt like fetch missions? Talk to the NPC, run here, kill a mob, get your reward, done. Now in 2.0 and beyond, they actually feel like proper story beats.
Oh, fuck, he's gonna spoil the story for me, isn't he? Oh my god.
There's tension, there's pacing, there's build-up, and because of that, I actually care about the outcome. And bro, the world feels alive now. But obviously there's still some improvements that they could do, but it still feels pretty good. Exploring in Wuthering Waves feels
The storytelling is not what makes a world alive. What makes a world alive is the exploration and how interactive the world is and stuff like that. It's not necessarily the story. Like the story can be amazing, a demon slayer level story, but if the world is empty, then the world is just empty. The world is not built. You're literally making a claim of something that storytelling cannot fix. Storytelling cannot fill the world. Mobs fill the world. Things shit to do fill the world, not story.
rewarding. You stumble across hidden bosses, puzzles, lore, snippets, and it doesn't feel forced. It feels like you're genuinely uncovering stuff in the world that exists beyond just here's your next quest marker. The environments are more vibrant too.
So I'm looking forward to that. If you say there is so much puzzles, nah, that's a little bit. You need like adventures. Like I'm gonna give you some example. In Natlan, in the volcano in Verisa's hometown, there's a whole ass hidden map there that is not really. It's like a side quest, have lore meaning, but it's there. It's like additional things you can explore. Same thing with Enkanomiya for Inazuma. Same thing with the area in Fontaine that you can go under. So, and I don't know how to, you know, like I would love to see things like that in Modern Waves. Like areas that are like not really showcased, but there are there, and you like randomly meet up in a cave and this cave expand to a whole new world, something like that, something that piques your interest and you say, this was here. They need things like that in whatever ways.
So you actually just want to just wander. But the biggest shift for me is the characters. At launch, I'll be honest, none of them really hooked me. They look cool, sure, but they felt hollow. Now though, they put in the work to flesh these characters out. Each new addition feels distinct, not just in gameplay, but in personality and motivation. You got characters who aren't just strong DPSs or a support unit. They've got reasons to exist in the world, backstories that tie into lore, and interactions that actually make me invested into them. Like when I unlock a new character now, I'm not just thinking, how do they fit into my rotation? I'm thinking, what's their deal? What's their connection to the world? How do they see things differently? That's rare in gachas. Most just treat their characters as
What the fuck are you thinking about, man? When I pull a character, I'm not thinking about how the character works in lore and stuff like that. I'm normally pulling the character because they're really cool or they're really hot. Argenti, I pull because he uses a meme. Versa, I pull because she's fucking hot. Who else? Llama, I'm gonna get that because she's hot. Shenhe, I pull her because she's hot. Like, and then there's the meta slave. There, that too. Like, I'm not a meta slave for Genshin Impact and Zenithzone Zero, but I'm a meta slave for Honkai Star Rail. And I don't know what you're talking about. Pulling for backstories and stuff like that. The only character that applies to is Kartitia. I think they did a fantastic job with Kartitia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it Carterella, the girl that can be small and big, because there's so much C character names in that game. I don't know. I think it's Cartitia, Cartwheel. So I don't make upset anybody. She was done very good. I'll give whatever is absolute praise. She was done very good. Her backstory was very good. She connected with the car with the story very good. And I'm not saying this from the outside looking in. That the way it was presented to me, it looks good. I haven't experienced it yet. I'm going to experience it, and I don't really want to talk too much on the lore because I've not touched that area yet. But I'm not going into a story with a bias. I am judging it fair and square.
collectible power units, but Wuwa makes them feel like part of the story. And that ties
That's not good because, as I said, what's the name? Calculator is not even a part of the story. Who else? Dan Jin, one of the best 4-star DPS, is not even a part of the story. They need to improve on that. If we have content out here that is saying that they're doing a pretty good job with the characters as is, they're not gonna be improving because they're gonna say, okay, they're okay with the bare minimum. We don't need to improve. They're putting themselves in the exact same position that Genshin Impact was in all these years ago when Genshin Impact had a monopoly on the market. So you're praising crap, so you're gonna always get crap because the chef is not gonna improve. Instead of saying that I think we should have improvement here, and you don't have to say it in a toxic way like I'm doing it. You can say that, guys, the story is amazing, but this and this could have gotten a little bit better work. Like how Genocide said that Follover's talking was a little bit too flurry. A lot of people hate it.
into the dev team. What blows me away is how intentional they've been about improving things. It's not lip service, it's actual action. Players complain about an issue and you see it addressed in the next major patch. That's
I've seen so many people complain about the optimization on mobile, and it has not been fixed. I've seen so many people complain about the optimization, and people's excuse was just get a better PC. I've seen so many people, including myself, complain about how they're not giving mobile better love, and optimization on mobile and PlayStation 5 is shit. And I still haven't seen change. And why I haven't seen changes is because anytime somebody make a complaint about this, they get bombarded and hate brigaded by the toxic community that is saying that the game is fine and they need to be changed. So I don't know what you're talking about here.
cycle of feedback and response builds trust. And I think that's why the community's energy feels different. There's excitement. People are hyped not just for the current content,
Whatever his community is just talking about Genshin Impact. I don't know what you're talking about. Whatever his community is just talking about how better whatever it is compared to Genshin Impact. I don't know what the fuck people will do if Hoyoverse decide to shut down tomorrow and whatever is only stay there. They're gonna say, oh, what do we compare to now? The purpose of living is no more.
but for the direction of where the game's going. And to me, that's rare. Like, how many gotchas can you honestly say are more fun 2 years after launch than they were at the start? Usually,
2 years after launch. I think the only gacha I play 2 years after launch is Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. I think this has to do with like how much, because gacha games initially were never intended for you to play the game all day every day. It was just something that you would play on your downtime. Game made for employed people rather than the unemployed, like saying don't test that can sit down all day and talk up shit. People like me that have real responsibility in the real world, and then I come in and I can play for like an hour or two or something like that, depending on the situation. That was what these games were developed for. And the old system, energy system, is a Chinese law system because you're only allowed to play X amount of time or use your phone for X amount of time for children. So that was like a system to combat that. Times are changing, which is good. And there seems to be a little bit of lenience on that now. But I think that law still stands in China. I'm not so sure. I haven't brushed up on my Chinese recently, but
Usually it's the opposite. They start strong, then slowly bleed out. Wua, it's been the reverse. Every patch feels like a genuine step forward. And I think that's what I've been
Ua's step forward was so good because the launch was shit. It has like, all right, what I'm seeing in 2.0 was what I was expecting in 1.0. You understand? So they're just making their step up to what I was expecting them to be. So I don't think it's something that is like, but then again, people are gonna glaze the shit out of this anyways.
been hooked to. Not because it's flawless, it still has some things I'd like to change, but because it feels like a game where my time investment actually matters. Like if I stick around, I'll get to see it grow into something even crazier. And that's why I'll continue to play Wuwa. It feels like my next home, and it actually blows me away with how well the game is now as opposed to 1.0. This is some of the most fun I've had with a gacha game since Prime Genshin Impact. Zero Glaze aside, it's a really fun gacha game that I wish I played sooner. Wuthering Waves is a game that's revived my interest in the open world genre. I've been waiting for games like Ananta or Azure Promelia in hopes that their open world aspect is something that's actually done right, but little did I know that Wuthering Waves was my answer all along. I'm excited to see what the future holds for Wuthering Waves, as the future does indeed seem bright. Fingers crossed that the dev team can keep up the momentum. This story has me locked in more than any gacha game
Ah,
out besides
if you know this anime, you're going to hell. That's all I'm saying. I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to get called out too. But if you know this anime, we are going to hell.
FGO, and I can't wait to see where the story takes us next. But for all my ZZ folks that haven't given Wuwa a try, you should. ZZZ and Wuwa are two different games that scratch two different itches. You might mess around and actually really enjoy it just like I have. I'm confident a lot of
Yeah, that's true. Like, it's I'm okay with people playing Wuthering Waves and enjoying Wuthering Waves or playing different games. The thing that I don't like is, all right, if somebody wants to go in Genshin Impact, they'll just go in Genshin Impact straight. If somebody wants to go in Zenithzone Zero, they just go in Zenithzone Zero straight. If somebody wants to go into Honkai Star Rail, they just go into Honkai Star Rail straight. If somebody wants to go into Zenithzone Zero, they have to be quitting one of these Oiverse games for some reason and saying that, oh, Wuthering Waves changed my life type of situation. And it's just, it's it's getting old. Like no matter what, I always see it. And as I always say, if I really wanted to blow up, all I just do is just start glazing Wuthering Waves and start making content like this. Then get recognized by Saint Tontas or Tecton. Not Tecton, not so much. He's not doing it anymore. But Saint Tontas in particular. Because they're looking for any type of fuel they can use to jerk off their ego that Wuthering Waves is better than a 5-year-old game. And
gacha
it's just pathetic, man.
players can find some enjoyment out of Wuthering Waves. But for those of you that may have took this video as offense, well, I'm not really sorry. It is what it is. ZZZ hasn't been fun for me for quite a bit, and some of you ZZZ fans secretly know it, but just haven't come to terms with it. It's okay. All we can do now is voice our concerns, and if they're voiced loud enough, eventually the devs will be forced again to implement more change. Regardless, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. For those of you that have played Wuthering Waves, let me know what keeps you playing. For those of you that play ZZZ and haven't touched Wuwa, why not? What's stopping you? Or if you have have played it, what don't you like about it? My name's Smacksan. I used to be a ZZZ only content creator, but now I'm spreading my wings and introducing more gacha games to my channel. If you like discussion-based content or
This is what I think. This is okay. Whatever he said, like and subscribe for me and stuff like that. Let me show you something. So this was what video was it? It was I wish I played sooner. This video. All right. This video was the one that I failed to record because it did. Oh, they got messed up. He says he's a ex CCC player only. So this is Honkai Star content. Honkai Star content. I guess he is like a only ZZZ player from way back yet. But I'm curious. The title that Reinform Hater comes back to Genshin Impact. Uh, Maybe he's talking that he only plays in the Zone Zero at the time. I'm guessing, but that is just one of the 3 or 4 videos that I'm gonna be reacting to from this guy. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not really that bad, to be honest. Like, mm, yeah, it's not that bad. It's not like he's overly like throwing Zone Zero under the bus, but like overly glazed in other ways. So content like this, I think, is fine. But it's just the nature of the content creator space when it comes down to withering waves right now. Like they're just gonna always try to find uses to like call out any whoever's game and say that, oh, withering waves is a better game and stuff like that. So it is what it is. I expected it. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoy, and I will see you in the next one.